What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well and having a great time out there, morning, evening, or night, wherever the hell you are. It is Andrew Esquire here of The Legal Mindset. We teach you guys to be your own judge. We're going to have a good one here today as I prepare. Tomorrow, I'll be in Thailand again, so I'll be down there for a bit. So as I prepare to leave the realm that I'm comfortable in and get uncomfortable, I am glad to be talking with the guy who's kind of behind the scenes. Like, not a lot of people know the behind the scenes guys. You know, sometimes they're there helping multiple people and nobody sees them. But guess what? Even if most people don't notice, Senpai always notices. And especially when you are working hard mowing lawns for about half of the good YouTubers on the internet. And that is my good friend, Mike, Mexican Ironman. What's up, my brother?
It's funny that you said Senpai always notices because, yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess I'm not so much a YouTuber as I am a YouTube producer. And I've been doing this now for, I guess, 4 years. And I thought, I always wanted to be behind the scenes, but just gradually over time, people started inviting me on to be in front of the camera and running the shows. And, I've been here for 4.5 years and seen all the good, the bad. And it's top secret is that I'm probably like the conciliary of all of YouTube. I know it's a pretty tough statement to make. That's pretty
it's true though, but like it's true.
But I'm going to say that to you because you're a counselor. So I'm basically the conciliary of YouTube, and every major beef that's happened between every major YouTuber with each other, I have been in the middle of it behind the scenes. And if I'm proud of anything, Andrew, it's that I've managed to maintain my relationships and friendships with many, many channels of various sizes that don't even talk to each other anymore because of social media beefs.
That's crazy. Okay, I really want to get into this. I didn't even plan to talk about that, but actually I want to get into that a little bit.
All right.
Because I think that's something for people. But okay, before we start, right? Because you and I, we know each other, right? We've been on many streams. I go on and I stream with Valiant Renegade, WW Pro, a lot of the, we've been on with Midnight's Edge together and a bunch of other folks, popping in and out all across the internet. Even smaller channels. I know you end
Brandon
up in
the Anime Guy, Midnight's Edge,
all those guys. You pop in and out of their chats, and I'll pop in and out of their chats. But these guys may not know you. They're like, who the hell are you talking to? Why is there an Iron Man in a Mexican hat with a mustache on the icon? What am I tuning in for today? So maybe introduce yourselves, maybe a little bit of your background. To the people. You don't have to dox yourself, but
Well, I am a dox. I don't care about doxing myself. See, that's one of the things that makes me different. No, my Twitter's at Mike Canola SJ. That's my name.
Yeah.
If you look at my channel and it says about, the email is my full legal name, which is, my address is posted. I live in here in Hilton Head Island, moved from California, lifelong career Democrat, now in recovery, voted for Clinton, Obama twice, and Hillary.
Oh my God. See, you're even worse than me. See, people give me shit because I voted for Obama the first time.
Right? I voted both times.
Yeah. And look, what I say was like, look, I was literally young. I was in college, right? Yeah. And everyone was voting for Obama, and we were tired of the fucking war. We're like, these wars are useless, which, by the way, it used to be the Republicans that got us into wars. And then, you look back in the future, like, these fucking Democrats have got us in more wars especially lately, right? If you look at Trump versus...
Right, and I was a big Democrat donor for long. I've been in business for myself since 2004. I run an accounting and tax firm. All my clients are business owners. I have clients in 4 time zones across the country, all 4 time zones.
Wow.
I have staff in California. I have one staff here in Hilton Head.
Yeah.
And so it makes for a long day, which I know you understand. So I've been
I completely understand that.
I've been in accounting tax. I started at ExxonMobil. That's where I learned. My first tax return was like $240 million for the Costa Rican chemical refinery. And so in my day job, I've got a pretty packed schedule.
Yeah.
But what brought me to, and I'm a Californian. And I was.
So you came from California. You're at California.
I was born in California. East San Jose, Mexican. My mom was a single mom, latchkey kid. Went to public school, graduated from Stanford and Oxford, went back to California, And yeah, I was a big donor for Democratic Party, grassroots community activist, big time Chicano a la Raza.
Big like Cesar Chavez fan, you know?
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
See, that's what I think people don't understand, like that culture. Because you know, I was in LA for a time. I had an ex-girlfriend who was from LA and spent a lot of time. And I think, you know, as a guy who came from Miami, I used to think, oh, I know Hispanics. I grew up in Miami, right? I know Colombians, Venezuelans, Dominicans. But LA, especially LA, like the LA culture is so much different. Southern California culture is so much different, and there's this kind of loop you get in, which I think it's kind of hard to understand.
And I was definitely brainwashed. And like I said, I voted for Hillary. And what I started seeing happening when Trump got elected is my clients started doing better. The policies started kicking in. I did some deep dive. You know, I was CNN, MSNBC all the time. And basically, I just had to I woke up one day and realized I'd been brainwashed for the whole time. And because, I mean, I'm in big cities, and none of the big cities had changed. I just couldn't, Andrew, I couldn't do California anymore. And after the COVID stuff, I decided I needed to make a change. My largest client, who was one of the 5 families that started the city of San Jose, which is where my business was at, moved to Hilton Head. And I went to visit him, and I'm like, I'm going to go to South Carolina. So I literally got rid of 80% of my clients, picked up, drove cross country, started working out of the house. I mean, I now have an office here locally, but man, it was, and I'm never looking back. I'm a big 2A guy, big 2A amendment guy. What got me onto YouTube was originally Comicsgate. So I was around for all of Comicsgate 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, I was gonna say what got you on, yeah, because Comicsgate was a huge thing.
I was with War Campaign. In fact, on my Twitter profile, I still have a War Campaign as an identifier. I'm still friends with those guys.
Okay,
and so what brought me on was Comicsgate, and then of course the Star Wars stuff happened. And I guess the way I started was that Doomcock Doomcock was taking a lot of shit for saying stuff about Disney and Galaxy's Edge. And I said, look, my family's been annual pass holders for like 20 years. I mean, I can drive down in LA and I can go to Disneyland and see what the hell is really going on. And that's what I did. That video got like 140,000 views. From there, I went to go help Echo Base Network, and it just kept going. And probably right now, there's probably over 30 YouTube channels that have between, I don't know, 2,000 to 5,000 subs, to the largest being Midnight's Edge, probably in Doomcock. I mean, I stream with Doomcock once a week for 4 to 6 hours. And I'm basically now at this point, thanks to Andre and Tom, who invited me on the team, but I'm like the number 3 guy over at Midnight's Edge After Dark. It's a huge honor to work with Andre. And
yeah, those guys are great. I remember before I was even on YouTube, I was listening to those guys. So it's really cool to have now. And when you came, you guys,
and when you came on the scene, I just got to tell you, this is like, for me, I'm the accounting tax guy. I have a lot of background in corporate governance, M&A work, audits. You know, I've done a couple of Twitter acquisitions of companies they bought, and I was always wanting a corporate attorney to be in the fandom. And you're not in the fandom per se, but you're an attorney with that pop culture understanding.
I mean, people don't realize I used to, like, I've paneled at conventions on Star Wars. Like, I've done, like, I know a lot of stuff. I've read extended universe stuff.
You're brilliant.
Yeah, I've read. I'm like I used to love anime. I mean, by the way, shout out real quick here to Brandon, the anime guy, who, you know, just became a member again. Guys, make sure you get into BLM or RPG, the base legal mindset of the replay gang. Appreciate y'all. And then he says here, mi amigo Mexican Ironman, talking to my other amigo legal mindset. My friend saw the light and got out. Isekai is life. Number rule, MIM is right. Mexican Ironman is right. Yeah.
So when you came on the scene, man, I was like glued to your channel. And I know you saw me in chat. You opened up memberships. I immediately bought. And I was like, thank God we've got someone who's a hardcore fan of all this pop culture stuff with the corporate legal stuff. And then boom, almost immediately the Disney Reedy Creek shit happened.
Oh yeah, I love it. And that's
so I am so thankful you came out on the scene, because we need your voice and your knowledge and your expertise, because it provides perspective, knowledge, and that's what we need. We need knowledge, but we need the proper perspective to take sometimes a lot of the emotion out of this stuff, like you did with Reedy Creek, and you're brilliant at it, Andrew.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Reedy Creek again in a second, because I finally found an article. Now, the headline is, of course, sensationalist, but the body is actually kind of fair, right? And I want to go through that in a second about the Reedy Creek fight, because we're still going through this, by the way. This is long. This is not over. I thought it was over. I thought my grift would end, but apparently it's going to be extended for a while. So this is going to be glorious for me. But a lot of people, I will say, they try to shame you, especially a lot of the people who aren't lawyers, right? Who look at LawTube and look at lawyers. They'll try to shame us like, oh, you're not a courtroom lawyer. And I'm like, what do you think? Like, first of all, like, how many lawyers do you think actually go to court? Number is very low, right?
None.
Almost none. And the ones that do go to court, they're usually doing like petty charges, like petty marijuana
plea
charges.
Deals.
Yeah, plea deals, driving with suspended license, crap like that. They're not out here pleading murder cases every day because, frankly, those don't go to trial every day, right? So they're relatively rare. And they make no money. I'm going to be real. They make no money. And let me be very clear. I'm a capitalist. I love money, right? So
money's good, right, Andrew?
Yeah, it's great. And you know who has money? Corporations. You know what's funny? People with money, big corporations. That's what I know. That's what I know a lot better than I know, courtroom stuff. So yes, I can watch it and I have a better mind than like the regular average Joe, but I don't pretend to be some master litigator. I've never represented as that, but I do in my area of expertise, Reedy Creek, corporate law, dealing with that, compliance. That's me. That's all me. Nobody else on YouTube that I know of. I haven't seen another corporate attorney. I was out there, period. And, the only ones that will get out there are completely in the tank for the corporation. They're corporate spokesmen, right? So they're just speaking bullshit. Yeah, I love it. It's my friend Ben. He's an immigration lawyer in Thailand. He goes, you're not a litigator, therefore you're not a real lawyer. Yeah, people throw that out there. They literally throw that argument out there. For other lawyers, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous argument. But they'll try to shame you that way. And I'm like, I have zero shame. Like, if you're trying to do that, that's like a woman saying who hurt you. Like, it's not going to really faze me anymore. I've heard this line a million times.
Yep.
Hunch says, I see that Mexican Ironman rabbit chicken taco stand lawn care service has gone international. How good are you at bonsai trees?
I suck at unbelievably, I suck at tree maintenance. Unbelievably, although my grandpa was into that, but he didn't pass on those skills. Well, you know what the rabbit chicken thing is, right?
No, I do not. Rabbit chicken?
Oh,
no.
You don't? So
is that like a man bear pig?
No, hold on. Do I have him here? Where the fuck is he? Well, he's here in the studio somewhere. But when I saw Shang-Chi, I walked out of that movie because I was so bored and thought it was stupid and lame. Did you see Shang-Chi?
I've not seen Shang-Chi. Is it good?
No, it sucks. I walked out. No, it sucks.
Look, I'm getting. Hold on, but Mike. So I'm flying tomorrow, right? And whenever I fly, that's my opportunity to watch shitty movies. So that is literally when I look for the shitty movies. I'm like, well, they've already paid for them, right? So like, I'm not giving them money, right? They've already paid. The airline has already paid for this. So I'll watch those shitty movies. So if I see a Shang-Chi on the thing, I'll also watch it to be like, okay, these guys are right. It sucks, right? But from what I remember, it's one of those movies where they tried like Mulan to cater to China, and then China like didn't really receive the movie well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I walked out when they had this little, God damn it, where the fuck is it? I don't know. It's here. I'll go find it before the show's over. But there's this little creature, this Chinese mythical creature that shows up that ends up being the key to everything, takes him to the magical forest. And I said, you know what? I'm the F out. So that thing looks like a rabbit and a chicken merged together. And so I said, so I basically from that point on, I've been known as the Mexican that raises rabbit chickens because I walked out on Shang-Chi because I hated that movie. Not as much as Wakanda Forever, but almost.
Almost close. Very close. Very close. Let's see here. Hunch says, respectfully, since 1900s, the Democrats haven't shown us, have gotten us in 85% of the conflicts you have been part of. Okay, so yes, guys, I saw you in the chat correcting me on that. You guys are correct about that. Sorry. But what I meant was, Hunch, and this is let me just say, as a millennial, like just looking at Afghanistan and Iraq, because at the time when you're a dumb, like literally mentally challenged, like because you've been programmed by the schools where you have, these communist professors, whatever, and all they're talking about is Iraq and Afghanistan. And they make you strategically forget history, right? And the history of Democrats getting us into wars, particularly past conflicts. Yes, you are right on a long enough historical timeline, but you forget about that. And actually, that's one of the strategies that the left does is they make you forget about history, right? They make you forget about who did what when. Right. What was the party of slavery again? Oh, yeah.
That would be the Democrats.
That would be the Democrats.
That'd be the Democrats who now are calling for reparation payments in the California, the state that I left, which that's another thing, too. I mean, I realized that all the large cities were run by one of my conservative buddies from college. We went to a reunion. And he says, Mike, you do understand that all the big cities are run by Democrats and have been for 30 to 50 years. And if you guys had all the right ideas, then why is crime out of control? Why do the schools suck? Why? I mean, he just bam, 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 and he made me think. I mean, he really made me think. And I was always anti-gun. I'm now a big 2A guy. I go to tactical trainings almost monthly. I mean, I've got multiple pistols, rifles. I mean, I'm a pretty active tactical trainer. Like, if the zombie apocalypse comes, Mexican Ironman can actually defend defend Hilton Head Island and be at the bridge. You know what I mean? Like, you'll be like, what do we want to do with Mexican Ironman? Do we want them to make tamales and tortillas? No, send them out there on the front line. So I'm ready for the alien attack, Andrew. I'm ready for the zombies, and I'm ready if the Democrats storm South Carolina.
Right. Again. Yeah. Yeah. It's hilarious because, like, you see how much freedom you can have just moving from one place to another.
Andrew, it's striking. It is striking. And I'm going to tell you, I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm going to be real. I'm going to open up with some stuff with you that I never talk about in any live stream. But
no, that's good. That's good. Because I want to get into about you, we spend so much time talking about pop culture, and we'll talk about it. We got 2 hours. We'll talk about pop culture. Right. But, like, you're a husband. You're like, you had a kid.
Well, no, I'm
right?
divorced. I'm not divorced with my kids.
Sorry,
I'm not with my kid's mom, but I have a 10-year-old. I am a dad.
10-year-old, right? So
yeah, I've got a 10-year-old.
So what? Sorry, what I meant was that you were married, right? You had a kid, right? And you, like, are trying to raise your kid in this environment. That's another big factor I want to bring up. It's like, because that's something that I think when a lot of people out there, they contact me and they get in touch with me, and they say, look, how do I raise my kid in this? And I had a long conversation with Joe Ball about this, kind of going back and forth on, modern day parenting in America, because look, I'm not a parent. So it's interesting to hear people and how they're dealing with this, how they're, coping with essentially the issues we have today, where you said it the other day, you can't put on Disney and leave it and walk out of the room with your kids anymore. You can't do that. You're living in a world where that's not possible.
Andrew, I'm going to tell you, like, when I was a little kid, my family has had annual passes literally for going back 20 years. And when we were kids, we went all the time. And my memories of Disneyland in California is holding my little sister. I think she was 7, I was 12, whatever. And I'm holding her hand, around Disneyland. That's my first. Someone says Disneyland. That's one of my first memories. Mm-hmm. And I never got a chance to go to Disney World. I still haven't been. It's always been on my laundry list. When my kid Max, how old was he? Was he 6? Yeah, he was 6. So for his 6th birthday, I told him when he turned 10 that summer we would go to Disneyland. Now let's go back in time. That's 4 years ago. That's before a lot of this woke stuff. That's pre-COVID. It's pre a lot of stuff, right? And recently, he just turned 10. It was his birthday about a month ago. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, what's our plan for the summer? We're going to go to the Kennedy Space Museum, and what else do you want to do? And I kind of left it open. He doesn't know about my anti-Disney stuff on YouTube. He doesn't see the streams that I do. And he says, well, Dad, I was going to ask you, I want to go to Universal instead. And Andrew, I got to tell you, one of my big dreams that I had when I was younger, and I said, someday I want to be a dad. One of my dreams was that as a dad, I wanted to take my kid, my 10, 11, 12-year-old, when he, not when he's 2 and 3 and can enjoy it, but when he's, older, like when I was,
right.
I want to take him and have that same experience, but that experience is gone. It is gone. Now, my sister is still a huge Disney, and I'm just going to say it. She and I get in fights all the time. She's still total
pixie
Disney, duster, Disney adult.
Well, they just go like this, and they just ignore. They literally ignore all the bad stuff. They're like, well, I just and I'll hear that from people. They're like, well, I just like the old cartoons and the movies. I'm like, yeah, but do you have a Disney Plus subscription? Are you going an pass holder? You're subsidizing this, unfortunately, and I hate to say it, but you're approving of it, right? By continuing to purchase the product, right? There's a point at which they could argue that it was a one-off and that they might look at the box office, but they're committed to this now. They are 100% tripling down.
So the last time that I went was February of last year with my sister. She had annual passes. She said, please go with me. And I'm like, fine, I'll go. And so I take my sister. Now she's grown up now, right? I mean, she's she's a pixie duster. She's a Disney adult.
Yeah. No. And by the way, Mike, I lived in Orlando, right? So, and a lot of the people there, especially the girls, that was a really freaky thing. When you went on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, whatever, and you swiped, you could tell by seeing whether they have the Mickey ears, the mini ears, sorry, in their photos, in their profile photos.
My sister does.
It was so many. And it was because they all come to Central Florida and they spend all of their money. These people are baristas. These people are minimum wage workers. And they are spending hundreds of dollars every weekend at Disney.
That's my sister.
And they live in poverty. And they
That's
do
my
nothing.
sister. She lives in Palmdale in the middle of nowhere in a rented house that's in the worst neighborhood that you hear gunshots at night. But when it's Disney time, she'll take that annual pass and she'll blow cash left and right. She's exactly that, Andrew. So I went there, and when I walked in, and they didn't say "Welcome, boys and girls," which I would have been used to since I was a kid, and it was startling to me. It was like I was like, "This was a year ago, February," and it was like startling to me. I'm like, "The fuck."
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now it's ladies and what is it? No,
no, it's not ladies and gentlemen. It's like
persons,
welcome
people.
No, it's welcome one and all. It's something like that.
One and all, one and all. No matter if you're a birthing person or non-birthing person.
But it's like you said. It's like my kid. If someone would have ever told me, Andrew, that I would not trust my 10-year-old too, and let's go down the list. Number one, I don't want him to go to Disney World, especially after that Iger call that we can get into, where they're gonna, there's gonna be gay pride, events
openly
at all the parks and parades booked, just like the neon light and the fireworks. So that's number one. So we're not going.
And by the way, these are people that have said, and we got out there, and this was on the call. They said these organizations have said, we want to convert your kids, we want to T your kids, we want to LGBTQA XYZ your kids. That is our mission, to force that upon your children. These are pretty twisted individuals. Like, that is pretty sick. I'm all for people's freedom when you're an adult to do whatever the fuck you want to do. I've never been a person who's infringed upon that. But this children thing is the line that I think, and this is where it comes out too, Mike. I think this is the line that swings the Hispanic community too. I think that's the one. I think especially when you get with family, you start fucking with kids. I think a lot of those people, even the lifelong Democrats, I think it finally gets to them when it comes to their kids.
I hope it's going to start to, because I'm going to tell you, Democrats. I mean, I look at myself. If I had met you years ago, you and I would have gotten into it, and you would have looked at me like I was delusional, because guess what, Andrew? I was delusional. Okay. I was completely delusional. But looking to where I'm at now, if someone would have told me I don't want to take my kid to Disneyland or Disney World, and thank God he told me, he wants to go to Universal. I'll get to why he told me that in a minute. I took away his Disney Plus off his iPad. Canceled Disney Plus and took it off, right? So he doesn't have access. If someone would have told me that I wouldn't feel comfortable letting him watch Disney TV shows or even say Disney movies, because before you go, whether he's with me or his mom or his grandparents or his mom's parents, we talk about everything that he sees. But if someone would have told me that I don't want my kid to see Disney movies, Disney TV shows, and go to Disney parks, I would have been like, no way. That cannot be a reality that's in my future as a father. But that is the reality that I'm in right now.
Yeah, and that's a crazy reality. Like, I remember going to Disney with my family, and that was actually like a very cool, good memory, right? Because it was wholesome. It was very wholesome. And now they've taken this wholesome thing. They've really taken everything that's wholesome and perverted it, made it sexual. And it didn't need to be sexual. It was never needed to be sexualized, never needed to be politicized. I never thought of Disney as political as a kid growing up. Now, the image, because they're saying it. They're saying this is what we want to do. This is what we are actively trying to do. We are actively trying to push this agenda. You can't remove it when you see it. That's how being kind of red pilled on it ruins the movies for you. That's why a lot of times people will say, oh, do you want to go see this movie? And I'll say, I can't, because I know that what the director said, I know what they've said, and they've said this is political. And they'll say, oh no, but I heard it's good. I'm like, I don't care. Because even if some Rotten Tomatoes said it's good, we all know that's fake, right? But the normies don't know, and they'll read Rotten Tomatoes, and they'll say, oh well, Rotten Tomatoes said this is fantastic, and I'm like, yes, but those are all paid shilled, and they'll look at me like I'm crazy. They'll look at me like I just said the lunar landing was faked, right?
But we're not crazy. But we're not crazy. You're not crazy. And the other thing, I just heard a breaking rumor news. I don't know what it is, but Pro says that WDW Pro says that they're even. Now the theme parks, they're thinking about taking Frontierland, gutting it, and replacing it with Tiara's Black Louisiana, whatever the hell adventure, whatever. Not just the Splash Mountain thing.
Frankly,
but all of Frontierland. And Andrew, I'm just like,
Mike, I hope they do it. I hope they do it because to me, I've gotten accelerationists with Disney. I've gotten like they need to fail hard so that the old stuff can come back.
Well,
and
I'm with you too. I believe in that too. But it just pisses me off because I'm like, what's wrong with white people? And you know what? I take a lot of
white people.
I take a lot of heat. I take a lot of heat from ethnic minorities that are in the fandom and outside. They're like, Mike, I'm like, what's wrong? I mean, go Team Cracker. I mean, look. Look, I know I was big Chicano pride, but let me just say something, Andrew. I don't want my land back because Mexican Ironman does not want to live in a teepee. Okay. Teepees. I don't want to be in a teepee down by the river on my own land. And let me tell you something. I also don't want my Aztec empire back. I don't want any pyramids. None of those fucking buildings.
Tenochtitlan, you're all right.
I don't want any pyramids because
flying serpent. You're good.
No, bro. Those pyramids look cool, but they don't have any HVAC. There's no air conditioning.
Have you seen Apocalypto? You know, like Apocalypto.
Yeah, no, Mexican Ironman. I do. What am I gonna do? Like put a bone in my nose? No.
Oh, that's great. I fucking love that. That's great.
No. I like white people. Thank you for my asphalt. I want to thank my white people for my very functional HVAC. My neon.
I love it.
My neon lights over there. Hashtag Team Cracker. Hashtag Mexican Ironman's on the front lines.
I fucking love it.
Throw the brownie out in front of Andrew. Protect Andrew at all costs.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny, but yet there's like, you know, nothing good ever came out of this. I'm like, all right, guys, let's like, you know, that's going a little bit too far, right? Hey, look, I was on, you know, when I was younger, and like I said, back when I was making bad decisions like voting for Obama, which, you know, Uber Geek says here on his $5, guys, no shade thrown your way for voting for Obama. He sold his fake persona well. I'm glad you're awake now. Peace, brothers. Yeah, you gotta take those red pills when you get them, right? And just kind of wake up and say, okay, this is the bullshit you're being sold. They're not actually going to make those changes they promised you. Like that world that, look, we all would love to live in a utopia where everybody gets along and everything is just fine, but just wishing that is not going to create that, right? Like hoping that's going to happen, like delusionally, is not going to create that. You need to create a culture, right? And I think one of the things we've lost like an identity of like what is to be an American. Like, what does that mean? What does that culture mean? Like, what is coming into the American culture mean? When I go to other countries, and you know me, I'm in Korea right now. I'll be in Thailand tomorrow.
I've lived and worked. I've traveled to 14 countries, but I've lived and worked in 11.
And you can tell when you're in a country that has a culture, and like you can identify with that culture, and kind of when you live in those other countries, you're like, you can choose to become part of that culture, and then you feel that sense of pride, that sense of, you know, connection. You can feel that, right? Or you can choose not to, right? But if you choose not to adopt those things, you're not one of those people. But we've gotten into this America, and this is the problem in Western Europe as well, where there's no identity, right? Where they're trying to say everything is subjective. Or even worse, everything is evil, right? Like, you know, everything the white man hath touched is evil because of the cardinal sin of slavery, something which, by the way, the majority of Americans never had anything to do with. The majority of Americans, even
how many
Americans,
white
never
people
had
came here after that shit was already handled? Like damn near almost all of them. And that's the other thing. When I look at this California reparations crap, I just laugh. I mean, well, let's just take me.
They were white indentured servants. Even people don't realize this. I taught this. I was teaching a property class the other day. All white men. Here's another thing. All white men weren't allowed to vote in the beginning of this country.
That's true.
We did not have universal suffrage for white men until 1850s, until the 1850s. You had to be
a property owner?
Yes. You had to have property or money, right? One of the two. And most people were just poor as shit. They were immigrants that were poor as shit. They were no better than people crossing the Rio Grande. That's how much they had in terms of their resources. They had fucking zero. They were coming with literally zero, starting from zero, right? Especially like the Irish, you know, they were essentially the Mexicans of Europe at a certain point.
Well, right. And in California, it was a free state. And then, you know, and the only people that had a tough time were pretty much like Indian, Mexican type people in California. And I mean, you know, and there were some slaves and indentured servants and all that, but there wasn't slavery, right? And so like you take me, right? What do you do to get a Mexican? All right. So what's the recipe of a Mexican? You take half a cup of Spanish of a Spaniard, half a cup of some Native American chick, put them together in the teepee, and pow, you get a Mexican.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do reparations, Andrew, I basically got to take my wallet, my Spaniard racist wallet, and I got to go put it in my Native American indigenous pocket wallet here.
Right.
And then I gotta pay myself reparations.
Well, and then also, like, do you go back further and start paying reparations amongst the Native, the Mesoamerican tribes, because they were all conquering each other and enslaving each other left and right. So, like, how far back do you have to go on that chain? Because they were taking human slaves, they were doing all that shit. They were going
apocalypto, bro. We weren't whipping, like, you know, Juanito like Kunta Kinte on a freaking tree, bro. We were taking hearts and heads. Okay.
Yes. It was rough
and heads on them pyramids.
Yeah, it was fucking rough. It was hardcore. Guys, when are you going to hear about hearts and heads? By the way, smash a like button if you like this base conversation. 318 of you in the chat. Fucking love it right now. Appreciate all of you guys coming here today. Yeah, I just love the insanity of it all. It's absolutely crazy.
Take the brainwashing about 2A. I'm a huge 2A guy, and I was raised that guns are bad. Gun control is good. Take away all the guns. Yada yada yada. I'm out here in South Carolina. You know, I got my first pistol when I was here like a month. Took a concealed carry course, dude. Now I'm like I've tactically trained with Warrior Poet, a lot of major trainers around the country. I'm flying next month too. I'm doing an armed response to terrorist attack 3-day training in Utah next month. I'm flying to Utah.
What we have to really fight against, Mexican Ironman, is we really need to fight against assault hammers, because I don't know if you know, but more people were killed by hammers in the United States than assault weapons, right? So just so you know, we got to come after Home Depot now, guys. Because
and you know what? Action! I need to call my Mexican brothers that are standing in front of that Home Depot, and we need to organize a community action.
It's fucking crazy. I mean, in these people that are still on this definition of what an assault weapon is, right? Which is just essentially whatever looks scary, right? It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. But anyways, I have this clip I wanted to show you.
Sure.
And this is just like the biggest hilariousness regarding students versus people in actual Mexico. I don't know if you see this one here. This is like, what's the difference with the outfit, right? Whether the outfit is offensive. He's got the sombrero like you got on your Ironman. He got the stash, right? So let's put it out. Can you hear it?
I can't hear it.
Okay, let me restart it. Okay,
hold on. Let me get ready for this clip. Hold on. All right, go.
Fucking love it.
I gotta culturally appropriate myself.
Yes, you have to culturally appropriate yourself.
Yeah,
the fact that you have the sombrero ready tells me you're a consummate professional.
Yeah, I brought it upstairs for you.
Are you Mexican?
No.
Yes.
I think it reaffirms stereotypes that are offensive to people.
It's not yours.
Do you find my outfit offensive?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's not your culture.
You don't really understand what their culture means and what it means to wear these things, like the hats and the maracas. You sort of have to understand where all of this comes from.
Oh, for God's sake!
Well, just wait.
Does my outfit offend you?
No. You look nice.
Do you like my costume?
Yes.
Does it offend you?
No.
Do you like my outfit?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Does my outfit offend you?
No, not at all.
No, nothing. That's good.
You think my outfit?
See, this is just like, to me, this is what I see, like, because coming from Miami, especially, like every time people say these things are offensive, it's just like you ask an actual person and they'll never say it's offensive. It's only in the college that these things are offensive.
And I got to tell you, Andrew, as I think about my kid, I mean, shit, I don't think I want him. I definitely don't even want him to go to my school. I mean, my school went from being conservative when I was there, which I fought against because I was a moron. But, I don't even want my own kid to go to Stanford.
Yeah, well, no, Stanford has gone for sure woke. There's professors there that are saying some crazy things,
bro,
including law professors.
It is awful, and it is just awful. I don't even want my own kid to go there. Once upon a time, I thought he would because, Stanford has that program where if your legacy, they automatically get bumped like about a third of the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Hell no.
I mean, I'm seeing more and more, especially like nowadays, I'm seeing more and more people finding ways to just start stuff with as little college as possible. And a lot of guys, particularly, I see them going into the trades and making bank. I mean, shout out to my boy Hunch here, the roofer. I mean, he's like, I'll get you a job. You got the skills. You're going to work hard. You're going to put in the time to learn a trade, to learn a skill. Well, you can make much more money without the debt, right? That you get going into college. And more of those positions are in demand because we need them, right? And these effeminate college types aren't doing them. So, and it's largely become, by the way, a female dominated between female and foreign, right? Particularly Chinese. It's just dominated by people that are hostile to you. It's particularly if it's a man, right? A man, like a white man in college, you are an extreme minority.
Well, and the other problem that we have with college campuses in general, which my kid isn't, for a 10-year-old, he's pretty base, but me and his mom have been on the same page of that. But just the absolute outgrowth of beta ass simps is just absolutely ridiculous.
Oh,
to me, the number one crisis in America right now is the beta ass simp epidemic by far. Okay. Now I take a lot of shit. I get people make fun of me. They call me the red pill Mexican, all this other shit. I don't give a shit. All right. Call me alpha, call me whatever the hell. But this beta ass.
But you don't want to simp for this. This isn't that you don't want to simp for this. This is something I have for later. But these are your queens. These are your queens. You don't want to simp for this?
No.
So this is like, so this influencer, she's plus size and she thinks that airlines need to give fat flyers free seats. I'm like, this is the thing. And the funny thing is that people like this is what they're simping for. And this is what they're turning over and saying, yes, my queen, we will give you 3 seats.
Oh, no. Yeah. Look, I have had a great multi-decade, I've had a great run. Only one time in that entire run did I bang a chick that was what we would call, Lizzo looking. One time. In fact, and that's only because my buddy, it was his birthday, called dibs out, and I had to take one for the team. One time.
No, I get it. Everybody's had to wing. Everybody's had to wing one. And sometimes you're that wing man. And listen, I get it. Sometimes it's man the harpoons, and it's just that time. You got to call yourself Captain Ahab, strap on that hat, and hunt that white whale. I get it.
You bring up a good point when you talk about Hunch the Roofer and others. All my clients have different businesses, and I think one of the things that happens is that women are not valuing and appreciating guys that have roofing companies. I got a guy one of my clients here in Hilton Head, in Bluffton, he's got an HVAC company. Guy brings down $2.3 million a year, taking home $800,000 net cash. Net. Okay. Yeah. The guy's making bank as fuck, right? Badass house on the water, boat, the whole 9 yards, golf course. And these chicks, though, they're just, they think if a guy has like a straight blue collar job, whether it's plumbing, roofing, electrical, whatever, anything that's not internet sexy, Instagrammy, these guys are getting ignored, and these chicks are delusional. I am a huge proponent of the whole buy a dog, die alone, invest in Purina puppy chow and shit, because
you won't make money. You will. I mean, right now, like if you're buying cat food and dog food futures, you are going to be rich. You are going to be filthy fucking rich. It's going to be crazy. I mean, it's an epidemic because when you tell people, hey, men are horrible, they're evil people, and they are poisonous because of their testosterone levels or whatever the fuck else it is. And then you wonder why they're having trouble having partners and why they can't find partners when you've told them that these other people are evil. Of course, right? I mean, they don't understand that basic fact.
Right.
And this is a societal problem because when you don't have families, couples coming together, people supporting each other mutually, right? Mutually supporting each other. That's societal breakdown. It's bad. It's real bad.
So what's the solution, Andrew? What's the solution? I mean, part of me thinks that these chicks are just gonna look. I'll tell you something that just happened to me last week. This is funny.
The solution is always a hard thing, by the way.
So there's this chick, the old girlfriend, hits me up recently, talking. I can't even remember how old she is. She looks like she's 28 to 32. But I asked her. I said, it's been a long time. Like it was 8 years ago, right? And
they'll come back. They always will circle back.
So she comes back. She's like texting me. She calls me Mr. Influencer and blah, blah. I'm like,
yeah. Now they see you got that little bit of clout, Mike. You get that little bit of clout and they're like, it's like blood in the water for a shark. You
Right.
know?
So she hits me up and says, and I said, "How old are you?" She's like, I was like, "Aren't you married by now?" And she's like, "No." And I like, "What happened?" I thought 5 years ago. I'm not going to call her out her name on this thing. Okay, she's a
No.
Guatemalan chick, but you know, she works.
I got no problem with
Good
Guatemala.
professional woman, makes money, works at U.S. Bank. You know, oops, shit, I shouldn't have said that. Works at a big bank. Works at a large U.S. bank.
Large U.S. bank. Yeah, there you go.
A large U.S. bank. You know, she's and I haven't talked to her forever. She's like, "Oh, what you doing? I heard you got a place in Hilton Head, da da da." Right? And I'm just like, "Who the fuck has told her all this shit about me?" But I guess she just figured.
No. These women are like the FBI. You don't understand. Well, before you go out on the first date now, Mike, they take even from your. Let's say you have a
like
dating
between
profile.
Twitter, Insta, and all that.
Yeah. So here's what they do. They see your name. They go for the school. That's like the number one. So they'll go to school. So they go, okay, Andrew, University of Florida, and they'll like do all the searches. They'll be like, where you're from, your hometown, your location. They'll find you, and they get all their girlfriends to do it. They're in the group text with their girlfriends. They send it to their girlfriend. They start Googling, right? And they're like, oh, look at his LinkedIn. Oh shit, he's doing this. Oh shit, he's working for them. Oh, look at the app, and they Google average salary. They'll find what you're doing. They go average salary. They're like, oh, he's making good money too.
Yeah.
Let me hit him up. Let me slide in those DMs. It happens.
So she just hit me up. Like, I'm talking to her on the phone. I'm like, and I just, my gut says, "So how old are you?" She's like, "I'm 38." And I'm like, "Wow." I said, you better plan a visit and lock me down soon, because otherwise, when you turn 40, I'll turn you in for 2 20-year-olds. She got so pissed off. I mean, I was joking.
But you know what's funny though? She'll get pissed, but she's still gonna hit you up.
And she did. Yeah. Andrew, 3 days later.
There it is. And this is what, Mike, this is what they don't know. They think that, oh my God, I tease like a little tease, and that's gonna end it. The little femboy beta guy who's like, well, if I said something like that, they're gonna be so offended and they're never gonna talk to me again. I'm like, no, that's part of the push-pull dynamic that's natural between men and women. You know, like you gotta have that energy, and they feel that, and they'll come back to you. And like that's the whole point. She was searching you out for a reason, right? Hilarious. I love it. Yeah, if she's not researching you, she doesn't care. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. They care. That's their investment.
Researched.
Yeah, you were researched. All right, we got a bunch of supers. Let me hit these so I don't end up like Valiant Renegade, our mutual friend, and I'm 30 behind. Jim Watari says, "Hail guys, hail Jim. Appreciate your $10 super chat." And then over here on Rumble, I'll hit these two real quick because they've been here for a second. Just Revere says, "Breaking. The lunar landing was faked." Of course, on Rumble. Of course, this comes from Rumble, right? Appreciate you, Just. Sully SDS says, "Mike, congrats on joining the 2A family to protect you and yours."
Yes. In fact, the main purpose of it is to protect my family, and that's something that my Max's mom is really rallied behind. That, you know, she knows on any given Sunday, wherever we go, whatever we do, that I can do that. Yep,
perfect. And Ben SC says, "Good evening, Regal Rhineset from upstate South Carolina." Shout out to upstate Kakalaki, whether you're upstate or downstate. I love all of Kakalaki. I've been to Greenville many times. Also love Hilton Head. Been down there to Myrtle Beach. That was like my redneck Riviera. I never went to the Panhandle, actually, ironically, of Florida, but I went to Myrtle Beach in that area like very often. You know, Hilton Head is the fancier. The fancy pants.
Yeah, it's definitely fancy pants here. We just had a big golf tournament. It's like all the big boats are docked here on the on the island.
It's a much different vibe. Different vibe. Brandon says, "Mexican Ironman, you and me in the same boat. No hashtag, I'll just say it, fuck Disney either. Also, ST, Star Wars, and most of our IPs are gone." I think it's just Star Trek, I guess. Long live anime and classic Star Trek and Star Wars. I agree. You got to look back at the old stuff. And look, you have tons of books. For Star Wars, you could read extended universe, like the old books, forever. There's so many of them. You can live in that world and just say, hey, look, it died at this point. It does not exist. And my hope is that it's going to take a while. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to, I don't even think it'll be 5 years. It may take 10 years. It may take a decade, but at some point they will fail hard enough that the ship gets turned around. That IP will eventually get turned around, but it's going to take a while. It's not going to be a short run thing. It's going to be a long run thing. That's my prediction on that. I don't know if you feel a different way about that, Mike.
It can't happen soon enough for me. I'm like with you. I'm an nihilist when it comes to Disney and these woke companies, because the infestation, it's like a house that is infested. It just needs to be knocked down and rebuilt. There is no hope. I mean, it has transcended the TV shows, the movies, and when I heard what I heard from Iger, when we were covering that call live. That told me everything else I needed. He basically put himself out there as the Winston Churchill of woke, equating their woke crusade with men who died on beaches in World War II and the civil rights movement. And
that's disgusting. By the way, that spits on the graves of our grandfathers that died on those beaches for much more than these people are doing. To say that there's some sort of, by the way, this whole narrative, there's some sort of tea holocaust going on in the United States is complete garbage, right? What they try to paint on DeSantis and Abbott and all the other, anybody who dares say stay away from the children, and they try to paint them as these demons. It is scary, because if you look at Washington, they're now preparing a bill in Washington to actually take children from parents if they refuse to transition them. So if the child wants to transition and the parents say no, they will take the kid, put them in a shelter, right, and separate them from the kid, from the parents.
Wow.
That's where we're going. That's the laws they want. And they're going to call that, and when they've already got the language prepared, gender affirming care, right? And to say care, right? To say, no, we just want to care for them, right? No, you're forcibly sterilizing children. That's barbarity that we banned years ago. We stopped sterilizing criminals. We used to sterilize rapists, right? If somebody was a rapist, they were sterilized, right? We said that's barbarous. We don't do that even to criminals. But now we want to do that to children? That to me is insane. And I guys, by the way, we're probably going to get in trouble for me talking about this under 2 hours. So make sure you've liked this stream and make sure you share it out, hit it on Twitter, get it out there, because just talking about these things is verboten, and just having an alternative opinion and saying, hey, look, leave the children alone. Somehow that's become crazy now. Let's see here. Brandon says, Mexican Ironman will be in my neck of the woods. Ole. I don't know where. Are you traveling his neck of the woods?
Yeah, next month, Brandon, I'll give you a holler. I'm going to be in Salt Lake City, and then I'm going to Idaho.
Oh, awesome.
The following week.
Hunch says, Andrew, don't let Mike minimize his academic bona fides. The guy is a Rhodes Scholar, so I want him to see him tear up one of these wokies in debate. I didn't know you're a Rhodes Scholar.
I'm not a Rhodes Scholar, but I did go to Oxford. I went to Model in college, which was tough as fuck. Dude, it made Stanford a walk in the park, and Stanford was tough for me. It was a tough 4 years, but I got my ass kicked. I survived and I got out of modeling, but definitely made me tougher.
But once again, it puts this it puts this stereotype. Once again, the stereotype is you should have been coddled and protected, and you should have been given, advantages. So you,
bro, I think the whole time I was there, they left me alone. I think they thought I was Indian.
You're like, my name is Mike, not Ranjit.
No, my Indian buddy gave me a nickname. It was, instead of Mike, I was Manjeet. True story.
The Manjeet? You were Manjeet?
Manjeet, because my last name's Kanol.
Oh, no.
So they gave me the name of Manjeet. So that was my nickname.
No.
Yeah, true story. My Indian buddies call me Manjeet.
Oh, no. There's this, I wish I could find that Manjeet meme, but there's like the Indian dude who's like with the giant American woman, and he's kind of like a jacked Indian dude, like kind of shorter. And I'm like, this man is doing a service and he has earned his green card.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Oh yeah, I love that. Let's see here. Hunch says, legal mindset. I learned the hard way. Got a BA from Syracuse, double major in history and poli-sci. Roofing is less stressful and more profitable. Fuck college, go trades.
Amen.
I think for men, men need to really consider this. I think that, look, if you're going to be disadvantaged in corporate, why are you studying what's required of the corporate, to go and become the managing director, the VP of Bud Light? I mean, you saw her, right? If that's the person you're going to be dealing with, and those are the people you're going to be working with, why are you studying to join them? Unless you have a very specific vision to become a doctor, or if, let's say, you need to become an engineer and they require that BA, right? Okay, sure. But unless you have a very specific reason to go into college, I don't see the reason. People mention IT as well. I think it was Ice Cold who mentioned that as well earlier. IT, you just need certifications, right? Get the certifications, go get the training, get the skills, right? Once you get your foot in the door, that's it. You're in, you're rolling, right? And you're making money, you're making bank. And look, they can laugh at you all they want when they're younger. They can laugh at you saying, look at me, I'm VP. They're alone with their wine bottle and $200,000 in student debt while you're fucking balling in your 20s. in your 20s.
I got it. One of my clients, he's 23. One of my other clients sold him his concrete covering business. Like they take concrete and they make it look really exotic. Kid's 23, and I've been coaching him since he bought the business from my other client. He's on track to do 385 this year if all he does is coast. And if he really guns it, he'll do $500,000, bringing home at least 150, 180 after tax.
Nice. Steve C just said it here on Locals. This is a quick comment, not a super, but this is a good point. Started my check job in 94. We hire people with master's degrees in computer science for under 60K. You're going and getting a master's degree for a 60K job. You can make that elsewhere. Right. And yeah, and I agree with this too. Not a super job. This is a good point. You can find lawyers in Home Depot. There's lawyers who they end up going to law school, getting all that debt, and they cannot find a legal job because they went to a shit tier law school and they really didn't learn the law well. They didn't have connections. There's no network for them to pass into, and they had no idea what they were wanting to become. They just saw Legally Blonde and they're like, well, if Elle Woods can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, are you fucking kidding?
Well, you've also got to make the right decisions. I mean, it's like me. I'm not an H&R Block tax guy. Like all my clients are business owners. You know, I mean, I don't do like a guy with a W-2, and I think my cheapest tax return I do is $750, and that's
and look at that. That's a lowest, right? That's
like like the absolutely lowest.
Yeah, no, I can't afford you. Like you're more expensive than
oh my God, Mr. I got a more subs faster than any other YouTube channel in history that I've ever seen.
Oh God. Okay, over here on Rumble, I'll get this one. AK just a tip 59 says AK Jim Otari, the non-Googled super chat. Appreciate you, brother. And then over here, Talk says next civil war, biological women versus trans women. That's already happening. I mean, aren't you kind of seeing that already, Mike? Like the with sports and everything else. I think this is in what's her name? J.K. Rowling, right? I think this is already happening.
So I think this is really baffling to me because I don't know how in the hell, let's just call it white women.
No, it's white women. You can say white women. I say it all the time.
That these dudes come into their space and fuck with everything that they had a lock on. Like, yes. I think it's almost God, who was it? Was it? No, it wasn't. It was a comedian from Boston, the one that was on Star Wars. God, what was his name? He's real funny, redhead. Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, yeah, Bill Burr.
Bill Burr has a great skit where he talks about how like white women hijacked the diversity and racism. They just jumped to the front of the line and got all the benefits and locked the shit down. And you know what? Men don't get enough credit for the fact that we generally want peace. And so we're willing to let a lot of things go. But for now, I'm baffled that why white women, their lives, they better start standing up because their lives are literally being ruined. Their sports are being ruined. I mean, bro, I just saw that video of that the swimmer girl who got attacked at San Francisco State.
Oh,
was
yeah.
Locked in a building for an hour and a half.
Yep.
Now, that right there, white, blonde, Barbie, swim team, collegiate, that was once America's most protected political class. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's the whole thing about missing white woman syndrome, right? You're like the blonde white woman and they send out the fucking Navy SEALs to find you, right? That was the whole most protected class in America. That is now lost, right? I think so.
And it only took a few cross-dressing dudes.
It only took this right here. It's a good meme from my locals. Bread, garlic bread, gluten-free.
Oh,
may contain nuts.
So what are you saying? It's like from now on. I mean, what does that mean for me and you in the dating market? I mean, we got to reach around and tuck and roll kind of thing, right?
No, you don't have to tuck and roll. I identify as super straight, which also makes me part of the LGBTQA++ community because I have an alternative gender identity.
Wait,
I don't know.
What is your gender identity?
You haven't seen super straight? Okay, let me.
No, I am super straight. Like
yes. No, it's a gender identity, right? I mean, you can identify.
Oh, come on.
As super straight. So, no, absolutely. So here's super straight. Here's the graph. I got to show this to educate. I think I educated Joe Neerman on this. I'll put it to the side. So
educate me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a moment of education. Now, Andrew, For
You
your
gotta learn the
Spanish,
difference and stop being a bigot. This is
for
the
your
big difference
Spanish
here.
speaker listeners, let's hit the
Sí.
SAP button. Beep. Vamos a
Beep.
tener un momento de educación del Andrew del Legal Mindset.
Gracias. So here we go. We have straight, which is if you're a man, you will engage with a woman or a trans woman. A woman will engage with a man or a trans man. Gay, a man will engage with a man or a trans man.
Okay,
Super straight, man only engages with a biological woman. Woman only engages with a biological man. Super gay and super lesbian only engage with biological men and women. Therefore,
Okay.
we thus are a protected class now. They have to protect our class.
All right. So my gender. So should I put? Do we have our own pronouns? How does this work, Andrew?
Yeah, SS. I don't know if that works really well though. I don't know if that works well for me. I don't know if SS works well for me. I don't think that works that well for anybody, right?
No. Andrew, you can't put SS in your Twitter bio. That's what we call him. That's what my people would call no bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno. I lived in Miami for like what was it, for 9 years? 9 years.
Oh, when did you live? When you live in Miami? What years?
So I moved there. What 90? I think I was there 95 to 2004.
Okay. Yes. You could.
Coral Gables.
That's yeah.
I worked for ExxonMobil. And so I was surrounded by Cubans and Puerto Ricans. Dude, they hated Mexicans.
Very familiar.
Hated Mexicans.
Yes, they really hate Mexicans.
Dude, Puerto Ricans and Cubans hate Mexicans, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I was at 434, the house I owned, Cortez, right there by Alhambra Circle.
I know exactly where that is.
Do you really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know exactly where that is.
So I learned how to. So my Spanish shifted from Mexican Spanish because I lived there for 9 years, dude. I got to your town, Miami, bro. Like my Spanish was already rusty, right? My Spanish was super.
But it's Spanglish down. It's Spanglish, right? Because you've got a little bit of both, right?
Right, because Mexican Chicanos, we don't speak Spanish. We speak something different. Yes. I got down there and they're talking bro. I went to the bank. I couldn't cash a check in English. I went.
You can't. If you go to Hialeah and you try to speak in English, they'll be like, no. They'll just look at you like you're retarded.
Yeah, and then you take my skin color and they're looking at me like, what kind of low base dysfunctional?
Yeah.
I went to a good school. Right? So now and then you meet all your Cuban buddies.
Yeah.
Right. And I love lots of Cuban friends now, but like each one of them has their story. Like if you talk to like 10 Cubans, each one of them had like
different. It's all
100,000 acres in Cuba, and it all got stolen by Fidel.
Yeah.
But,
well, the old ones, yeah, the ones that are like the OGs that were like left, first, and it's big down there. The thing is, the year you left, right? Because the earlier you left, the more money you had, right? Because the people with money kind of saw it coming and got out first. So it's like, okay, when do you leave? So people will always be like, okay, when did you leave? And also, how Spanish are you? Because there's an actual order of like,
oh yeah.
I forget what it's called, like how Castilian you are.
I introduced one of my girlfriends at the time to my mom. I said, she's Cuban. She says, no, my family is from España. I'm like,
yeah.
No, you weren't. You're fucking born. What the fuck? You're born in Hialeah.
No, but that's something people don't understand. And it's like you want to talk about like racism. Like there's way more, and it's not just like
Latino
race,
people.
Like
we are racist as.
It's like country. Like literally, it is you might as well drop an N-bomb because that's better than calling someone a Dominican. Yes. In Miami, if you call somebody Dominican, you might as well be spitting on. I mean, you're right. They hate Mexicans, but like there aren't as many. So in Miami, as you know, so it's like a rare Pokemon.
Dude, I couldn't grow when I left Exxon, I started my own practice and I couldn't grow it because no one would do business with me.
Right.
Because they're like, he's a Mexican. They'll be like, un mexicano es el primo de Fidel. Yeah. They basically say that. Well, he's Mexican. And, those people do business with Fidel because Mexico buys Cuban products.
Well, and that's how everyone gets out, by the way. They fly from Cuba to Mexico and then they go Mexico to the US, right? That's how you escape. To Cuba? No.
Oh, when I lived in the Dominican Republic, when I was working for ESO, I used to take the ferry over.
No, but I mean, look, I have enough, like, I grew up in Miami, right? So I knew enough people and had, growing up, I only had Cuban girlfriends were like 50% of the girls, right? So that in Colombians, right? But I mean, they'd tell me horror stories, Mike. They would tell me they were bringing back needles for their grandmother who's in the hospital. She's too old to leave Cuba. She's just so old, but they've got to bring back clean needles because they don't have clean medical equipment. They give you used needles in the hospital. This is what they want. This is what, who was it, that guy who did Sicko? Mike, that Bowling for Columbine. God, the fucking guy's name.
The chat will know.
The chat will know. Chat, Mike, you guys will know. I saw that guy in the NBC building and almost punched him. But that dude was advocating, hey, we got to become the Cuban medical system. It's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Do you not understand? Mike Moore, you got it. Thank you, Tianini. Tianini, appreciate that. Yeah, Michael Moore. Yeah. And this is what they want us to become. It's like, you guys have no fucking clue. You think it's great, but you've never been there. And the ones that have been there get red pilled on it.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I've lived and worked in 11 different countries, and I think that provides me with a unique experience that a lot of people that have never left this country don't have. When you've been in and around other countries and live there and work there, and you see the freedoms you don't have, and you start to realize, holy shit, like all the things we complain about, they don't matter, Andrew. They just don't matter, but they do matter because they're destroying our culture. And that's what happened with me with YouTube, is that what sucked me in was comic books. And next thing you know, the culture war's starting, and they're attacking all of our fandoms, and they're trying to obliterate families. And I'm just like, look, if you guys hate this country so much, just leave.
Get the fuck out. And by the way, that's the strategy. That's what they say here. Like, if you're in Korea or Japan or any of these other countries and you don't like it, I got my friend Ben there in Thailand. They'll be like, yo, if you're complaining that much, get the fuck out. Like, at a certain point, they're like, just go. Like, you don't have to be here. Nobody's requiring you to be here. So the people that come over here, and I see this a lot with foreigners, they come over here and they try to change shit. They're like, no, just fucking leave. You have your own country that does that has those failed policies. You can do, you love immigration, right? You want open borders. There's fine. Go to Germany, go to America, right? Have fun with open borders there. Good luck with that, right? But
bro, speaking of borders, I got to tell you this, right? I got to tell you this, man. I am outraged by what's happened on the southern border. And the fact of the matter is that I have a lot of family in Texas, New Mexico. Totally, like they don't want to hear what we think, because any of us that got here, either we were born here or we got here the right way, my whole family. And it was not an easy process for a lot of my relatives. I was born here, but for a lot of them, it wasn't an easy process.
No.
And to see the way they're just opening up and letting anybody and anything come through, it's just an absolute outrage, a complete I just read that in New York that they're going to start using public funds in order to send illegal immigrants for fucking college to pay off their. What the fuck?
By the way, they already do that in California. You know that, right, Mike? Like
I didn't know
allowed.
That.
Yeah. By the way, for years, I remember learning about this when I was there in maybe 2008, 2009. For California residence purposes, right? So if you're a California resident, right, California Public University is subsidized. It's a lower rate. It's the in-state rate, right? Your immigration status does not matter for residency. So they are subsidizing in California. They've been doing this for, I think, a decade now, right? Public university in California is subsidized for illegal immigrants. Your immigration status does not matter. So they are subsidizing that. Yeah.
I don't understand how we've got 12 billion for Ukraine. We got all this money for all these, where the crime is rampant. We got yet my clients who are trying to do things the right way, run businesses, give people jobs in America. So, and all my clients, like I said, they're in 4 time zones around the country. They can't get an SBA loan because all the money ran out after COVID. I mean, what the fuck?
I mean, not even that, but like there's legal workers. I know people here in Korea that would love to come over to America, and they're skilled workers. They're people who literally have degrees, skills, very good skills. And they're like, nah, actually, we're not gonna give you a visa. We're not gonna give you, it's impossible for you to get in, right? But if they just literally got on a plane, got off the plane, stayed there illegally, right? That would be the better option for them in the long run, be easier for them than if they just try to go through the legal process. It's I don't
know if my people are going to wake up or not, because we know, those of us in the know what they're trying to do. They're trying to let a bunch of people that with my skin color in, and they're thinking that in 3 to 8 years, they're just going to have some kind of blanket immunity, and they think they're going to pick up another million, 2 million,
Million
3
votes.
million votes
in Texas, and they're going to swing it because all of them are going to be in those red states, and they're all going to swing it. But I think,
let me tell you what's not going to fly.
Yeah.
What's not going to fly is with Mexicans, Latinos in general. A lot of this woke crap doesn't fly because we are at our base religious, family oriented.
I don't know if you've seen this one.
No, let me see that one.
So this is Speedy Gonzalez was banned by Cartoon Network for being an offensive stereotype, only to be returned after a mass protest by the Hispanic American community. Speedy Gonzalez is an offensive stereotype. Isn't that right, my Latinx friends? Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Exactly. Like if you give me a choice, Andrew. Okay, I'm a DC Comics guy. Like that's how I grew up, right? But my least favorite character is the fucking Flash. All right. That's my least favorite DC character of all. Why?
Right.
I'm like, okay, he runs fast. Guess what? Not impressive for a fucking Mexican. Okay. Okay. He runs real fast. You know what? That is par for the course, Andrew. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay?
I got you, bro.
So I'm not impressed. Plus, if you're gonna have a superhero that runs fast, we already got one. He's Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Fuck your Flash.
Gonzalez. Yeah, he's gonna be Flash every day. Fuck that.
Exactly. Speedy Gonzalez or Flash. My money's on the mouse. That mouse, the good mouse, the brown mouse.
The brown mouse. We stand for the brown mouse here on Legal Mindset. Oh, got it. And Ryu Kirita says, I love real Latinas, not Latinx women. Yeah, real Latinas are great. I mean, I love, like, I actually have to think about Mexican. Like, I guess a couple, but like, every girl who's been from Colombia, Venezuela, Costa Rica, like, wherever, I mean, I've always had a great time. I had a fantastic time, particularly if they're from there and they're connected to there. I will say, and I want to get your opinion on this. There's something about the second and third generation, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's a big shift. Those are the ones, and I see it in Miami, right? Their granddad or their mom came from Cuba. Maybe they came over on a car that was shifted into a raft.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe they came over on a plane, whatever, but they lost all their business in Cuba. They can't go back. They got family there they're separated from. And the mom and the dad and the grandma, they're all voting Republican forever. They remember the Bay of Pigs. They remember all the bullshit. They remember all that lefty, like how the lefties pulled the rug on them. They remember that. They're never going to forget.
They still hate Kennedy.
Still fucking hate Kennedy. Don't even talk about it. They're traitors, right?
Come mierda, un cerrote.
Come mierda. Yep, exactly. And which is why, by the way, I think I didn't realize till I left Miami that eating shit wasn't something that people said outside of Miami. That wasn't like that was like an origination. Like, oh, what are you doing today? I'm eating shit. I said that in North Carolina when I was going to college. People are like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm
right.
like, oh, yeah, they don't understand.
Yeah, that you can't. That Yeah,
that's don't say that.
Puerto Rican thing.
Cuban, Puerto Rican thing. Yeah,
Caribbean.
Caribbean thing. But
But yeah, you take the second generation,
and they become, and they're wearing Che shirts, and they're wearing Che shirts. And these are people who don't know what Che did to Cuba. Right. And these are Cubans. And they're wearing Che shirts. And I'm like, you guys like don't get it. Right. And that's what's scary to me. And that's what worries me about the future is I'm like, this is what college and high school and education can do to kids. It can take people and make them forget their own history and make them understand a different version of it, saying, oh, well, it wasn't extreme enough. Right. It wasn't Che's utopia. And if it was just Che's utopia, everything would have been better. But it was Castro, so it wasn't good enough, right? It wasn't, that thing that happened in Russia with the Soviet Union, that wasn't true socialism. That wasn't true communism. We got to get really to real communism, and then we'll be all right, right?
I think the real issue is that regardless of, look, Hispanics in general, women are going to be much more, Hispanic men want to take care of their women and their kids.
Oh yeah,
that's like default. And Hispanic women, Latinas generally want to take care of their man and their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what happens though is that they start getting around this culture that we so much want to be a part of. And I'm just going to say we Hispanics are in a weird place because what happens is that we want to be, we look at the white folks like that's the upgrade. Right. That's like, Toyota, Lexus or Toyota, whatever, right. Nissan. Well, I don't know which is it. Nissan, Lexus. I don't know.
I think Lexus. I don't
whatever
know.
The fuck. Anyway, the point of the matter is it's the upgrade, and then we're over here and we're like, well, we don't want to be over here. We're not a bitchy loudmouth. Aside for Johnny Legs, we generally don't tend to be beta ass bitches that complain and go me. Like, you know, we're okay landscaping, we're okay doing accounting, I mean, look, I don't play golf. I live on a golf course, but I don't play golf. I see a fucking golf course.
What's wrong with working hard? I don't get that. Like, why do we
love it?
We
love it. And so we don't want to be the, we don't want this black community drama and bitching and complaining. We just want to work hard, leave us alone, and all that stuff. And so we want to be like this. And then we see these white Karens or these white beta ass bitch dudes saying that all this woke stuff is the way to be, and it's like an infection. It's like literally like a disease. It's like a religion.
Yeah, I love this. White women on my news feed. Minorities need me to speak for them. Yeah. That's like, they don't understand that inherent, like the inherent problem with that. I was on the bus the other day, and there was some Korean guy who was like trans or whatever, right? And I don't really give a shit. I didn't have a problem with that. I'm just walking by, it's like, guy wasn't looking at me at all. He was sitting next to a white woman. She was looking daggers at me, like, I dare you to say something. And I'm like,
what do you mean?
Yeah. I was like, what are you gonna, like, you could tell in the look. You could tell in the look was saying, I dare you to say something, right? Like, say something, white guy. Like, the entire time I'm like walking off the bus, she's tracking me, with these laser eyes. And I'm like, this is like, you're creating the problem. There's no problem without you, right? You are making this into a problem where there's zero problem. It's absolutely crazy.
I think human contact is the solution. One of the things that I'm proud about is that even though I'm on YouTube, I have done as many meetups in person with real people as possible. And I think that more than anything has made it so that even though there's YouTubers that can't stand each other and their fans can't stand each other from these different channels, I'm able to at least interact with all of them because I've met them in real life. I can't just say, fuck you on Twitter and call it a day. I want to deal with people too.
And I hope we can get to meet at some point in the US. I'm doing an event in Tokyo, and I know a lot of people are going to show up to that one. And I have just decided the dates on that. It's going to be in Tokyo. It's on my website, Go East Gentlemen. If you want to get on the wait list, you can sign up here, and I'll get you more information as it comes out. But October 27th to 29th.
Andrew Fest. I got to renew my passport.
Dude, renew your passport right now, because it's taking right now. The times are extended because so many people are doing it. It's taking at least 3 months.
What?
Yes, because so many people are doing it because they're the corona hangover of everybody who's tired of not being able to travel, and also a lot of guys are getting out.
Passport bros.
Passport bros is a real thing, and I just hope that people, if they want to move, they contact the right people. They don't just hang out with no visa.
All right, Andrew. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna start it right here. We're launching it tonight, and instead of passport bros, it's gonna be passport sombreros.
I love it. The passport hombres.
Passport hombres.
I love it. Those passport sombreros. I love it. By the way, thank you for the $50 super sticker. Leprechaun Gold. Appreciate you. Also appreciate Fair Frozen saying, here's another PR poop saying, al que le gusta la mierda se harta. Who likes to eat the poop eats their fill. Yep. Very good. Fucking love that. Let's see. Uber Geek says, guess I'm super duper late straight then. Oh, you're good. You're good. SDL's S. That's fine. Shum says, Mexican Ironman identifies as an ALF-loving Fanta drinker. His pronouns are run, window, crash.
So I hate ALF. That's the inside story.
I know that. I know that, but the people may not know that. He hates ALF.
I fucking hate ALF. When I was a kid, that shit was on all the time. I fucking can't stand that kid. That's the stupidest character ever in the whole life. Can't fucking stand that shit.
Yeah.
I should say Fraggin. Sorry. Frack.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's legal mindset. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Okay. Illegal mindset.
We're already, this is the illegal Mexican. Well, we have to do it on my other channel as well, but illegal Mexican mindset will happen at one point. We're watching crap getting demonetized. The only thing that flies is Mexican Iron Man out the window when he hears, honey, I'm home.
Andrew, this is a lie that's going around the internet about me banging married women. I've only done that once, and I was unknowing. It was last summer. last
Yeah,
fall.
Mike, that's what I tell people is
Bro,
that
she lied to me.
they
Andrew.
lie to you. Yes,
Andrew,
they lie to
she
you. They
told
lie
me,
to you.
Andrew, this is what happened. Okay, give me some advice. This is what happened. So it's my hairdresser,
They
my
lie to
hair
you.
cutter girl,
They
right?
lie to you. Yeah.
All right. And she told me she was divorced. And what are you doing? Then she's like, where do you live? I live on Hilton Head. She says, where? I'm like, in Hilton Head Plantations. Oh, what street are you on? And I'm just sitting there getting my, next thing you know, we're out coffee. Then we're doing margaritas and nachos at the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay,
I get it. Yeah.
And she's in the neighborhood about 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
She
in the
comes
neighborhood.
by.
Yeah.
A Mexican's got to do what a Mexican's got to do.
I know. Just lucky. I mean, look, we always say just lucky you're not, batting with your fertility rate. It's like one pump and there's like 6 children.
Yeah. So the third time around, she says she what happened? I guess her daughter dropped her off. Right. So this chick's like 38, I guess, and her kid's 16. I don't know what happened. Something about driving and whatever. Fuck. Anyway, so I got to take her to her house, and she's like, "Oh, stop right here." I'd never been to her house before, and like, okay, so I stop and da 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 da. And as I'm driving away, I noticed she walks to the next house and walked in that door, not the house I dropped her off in the driveway. But I'm going down the street. I'm looking at the rearview mirror, and I see her like walking to the house next to that one, and then going up that driveway into that door. Son of a bitch. So I call her up and I say, what the fuck's going on? She says, well, I'm like, are you divorced? I'm like, where did I just drop you off at? She says, well, I'm in process.
There you go. See,
I'm legally separated.
Here's where she's divorced, right here. Right.
And so I said, are you, so I asked you know me, I'm going to do my due diligence.
Yeah,
I'm a tax auditor, Andrew. I'm a tax auditor. I'm going to perform my due diligence now. Maybe I should have before, but now I'm doing it. And I said, look,
Look, how you don't die, by the way.
How long have you been
not die?
And like, how long have you been separated? She says, well, my marriage has been over for years. And I'm like, when did you legally file the separation agreement in the county so that you're legally separated? She says, well, I'm meeting a guy to do that next month. I'm like, so you're still married? And she says, well, yeah, but we haven't had sex in 3 years. And I'm like,
yep. Yeah,
Andrew, I'm the victim.
Mind.
I didn't know.
No, but don't be. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong, brother. This is a support network for people. Listen. It is not your fault. You are just acting upon your instinct. Your Iron Man smash. I know it's supposed to be Hulk, but Iron Man smash. It's just in the nature, right? I get it. A couple margaritas in, there's nothing stopping you from crossing that Rio Grande. That's all I'm saying. A couple margaritas in, the water must flow. We're doing it. Look, it's like the spice in Dune.
Godfather, you understand everything.
I get it. But here's the thing. Once you find out, you have to evacuate. Oh. You've already done the other E word. Right now, it's time to evac. Right. Because at that point, that's when you get shot. Right. Those are the people who get killed. Are the people who continue to do that and continue to engage in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope. Blocked. The whole 9 yards. Ghosted.
That's not. I mean, that's justified. That is justified at that. Right. Because Fallout Zone said it right here. That's how you get yeeted by the beta. Right.
Exactly.
Because he's going to get mad that you are having sex and he is not, because he hasn't had sex in a decade.
Now, thankfully, my doorbell reloads, but still.
What was that? Tug who dropped that line?
Yeah. I use Tug's
that's
line.
a great fucking line. I love that. My doorbell reloads.
So does the back door, the garage, the car, my bedside.
Of course, DCV Titan says Mike's just jealous that Alf gets more kitty.
Hey, Mexican Iron Man loves eating himself a good cat.
Well, tacos are great. No matter what color they are. So
let's go back to Disney.
I
want to ask
get
you,
that. But
can I ask you about Disney?
I want to. Okay, well, before we get to Disney though, I want to handle one other thing, because we're talking about beefs that's like family beef, right? Yeah. But I want to get into the YouTuber beef, because that's actually something I've talked to a couple other folks on. I've talked about a little bit with Nick Rekieta, and I think this is something that a lot of the people don't see. And I want to talk about it because, like, there's a way to handle YouTube beef and other ways not to handle YouTube beef. Yes. And you've been behind the scenes, so you've kind of seen it play out. Let me start with this question. Is it inevitable? Is YouTube beef between creators? Do you feel like it's inevitable in certain circumstances, particularly with people that are working closely together? Do you feel like always there's going to be some sort of beef that rises up?
I do. I do, and I'm going to tell you why. This is probably the only time I will ever speak with this on this topic on any channel anytime, because it's you.
So smash the like button, guys, on this, because the only time you're going to get this. You're not going to hear this anywhere else.
I've never spoken about what I'm about to say on any live stream, and I probably will never speak of it again, but I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to be as blunt and direct as I possibly can be, which is this. What I have learned about YouTubers and social media influencers, whatever you want to call it, is that, and it's baffling to me what I'm about to say, there is a burning desire that's created to be right, to be first, and to be popular. And though that burning desire for those three things means more to people than even money.
Yes.
So the last time I saw this was when I've had an office in a lot of cities over the years. I had an office and production office in Hollywood, in Santa Monica, where I did post-production accounting out of that office. I had 6 staff people, and all we did was Hollywood post-production studio work. And I left because I couldn't deal with these people anymore. But it's like Hollywood people, what makes Hollywood people a certain way is that people say, oh, they care about money. No, they don't. What they care about is sort of reputation, connection, and attention.
Yes,
and it's
attention.
a lot like
attention. By the way, you know who else cares about attention? Women.
So
let's continue.
Women. So that craving desire for attention ends up being more important. Like the only thing that's more important to YouTubers than attention, in my opinion, is water and air. Because here's a fun fact. The vast majority of YouTubers don't make dick shit for money, but they spend a shitload of time making pennies on the dollar. Some people ask me, well, Mike, why don't you start your YouTube channel? I'm like, for my lifestyle, what's it going to do? Give me toothpaste money?
Right.
Okay. So what I see happen over and over and over.
By the way, you're charging per hour way more. I mean, like you said, your baseline is like, or sorry, not per hour, but your baseline is $750. You won't file for less than that.
No,
there's a lot of YouTubers that won't make that in a month at all, right?
I know for a fact that some of the channels that I produce, I've made more money in 1 month than they've made all year. I mean,
especially if they're just relying on YouTube revenue. If that's all they've got.
So what happens then is that you have these YouTubers that what happens is I call it the YouTube disease. Something clicks. Yeah. At some point, something clicks. And they then decide that they want attention, they want popularity, they want to be right, and they want to be first about being right. And everything else doesn't matter. Personal relationships don't matter. Making money doesn't matter, because you would think if making money mattered, you would value the relationships, that the collaboration, like you say, the collabs. You would value the collab because you understand that there is, to use the word synergy, to be gained by all ships sailing in the same direction together. Everybody gets more. One of the things I love about you, Andrew, is that you've said over and over again that sub count is a vanity number. And
it's a vanity number. Look at, by the way, we see this. You know what's a great proof of this? Star Wars. Look at the Star Wars in YouTube, right? They've got, 1 million or so subs, 5 million, whatever else it is. And when they do it live, you see like 100 people tuning in. Right. So it's like, first of all, some of those are fake. Second of all, those people aren't really fans. They're not really tied in and connected to that community. Right.
So what happens then is that you have this, and then inevitably some disagreement is going to happen between YouTubers, whatever it is. Take on this, and this. I'm right, you're wrong. And then it explodes. And then what happens then is it activates the fans. So what happens is, if you ever see the movie Gladiator, they talk about the mob in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
So the fans of this channel and the fans of this channel are rooting for 2 different gladiators. That fuels the 2 actual gladiators, or the 2 YouTubers. And next thing you know, no one's talking to each other. And because we live in a world of social media, it's easier to block each other, block your DMs, stop being on each other's streams, ghost each other, and relationships that were at one point solid fractured. I saw this in Comicsgate. I've seen this in the YouTube fandom. I literally, at this point, I probably am. I mean, I can name 20 YouTube channels with significant sub counts where I know half of them don't talk to each other, deal with each other because of some beef that they've gotten. And to me, I think it's all funny and silly, because I think we all should be in alignment. And the fact of the matter is that, Andrew, you and I in real life, we're probably not going to agree on something. I'll give you an example.
No, right? Like issues, right? Like, so we're going to have issues. And I keep saying this, Mike, you're 100% on this. We're going to have issues that we disagree on, right? Like, for example, I know that a lot of times, for example, when I talk about stuff, I piss off a lot of traditionally conservative people because they'll agree with me on 99% of stuff, but then I'll say something and it'll be more like libertarian minded, or, saying when I, say about woke Western white women, they won't like those takes. They'll be like, we got to save our queens, right? There'll be one thing they disagree with me on, but I'm like, look, if we're talking about taxes, we can agree on that. We're talking about the borders, we can agree on that. We're talking about like, I want to help families. I don't want these trans laws to pass. I want to say help you guys on that, but they'll disagree with you on one thing, and they will label you an enemy of the state, and you are the same as AOC, Stalin is Hitler, whatever else. They have this need to make the creators they like into god emperors, into literal gods, right?
Yes.
And to deify you. And I think that's wrong. We say, look, Andrew, and people, even my fans, like Hunch, right? It's good on this channel. They'll say, hey, Andrew, I think you're wrong on this take or this and that. And I appreciate that when people, especially my fans, say, hey, look, Andrew, disagree with you on this. But more often than not, I like what you're saying. Like, this stuff is true, right? Like, that's fine. And you and we can disagree on stuff. And I know you had something we probably disagree on. So if you want to create the fight right now for the Mexican.
Oh, I'm not at all attracted to Asian chicks.
Oh, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Like,
I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, saying this is my point is that
I think you're missing out. And have you met Filipinas? I think for
yes,
Latino
I
brothers,
can't stand.
You can't. All right.
The accent drives me nuts. I had a Filipino girlfriend in high school, and that's it. So no, I'm the reason I'm picking that as an example is because of all the things we could disagree about, whether it's Star Wars or Asian versus Latina chicks or whatever. Right. The point of the matter is that
that's so petty. That's so fucking
the relationship and the bond of all ships sailing the direction should be more important. Now, the fact of the matter is, drama's entertaining. Yeah. The live streams love it. But what it ends up doing is it's inevitable and it's sad. And it's really, really, I have almost left, Andrew, honest to God, I've almost left YouTube so many times because here's what happens. Because everybody knows that I'm the guy behind the scenes of a lot of these channels. When two creators have beef, I get anywhere from 10 to 50 DMs, emails, phone calls, texts from this side and this side telling me who's right, what side am I going to be on, am I going to fix it, or how am I going to da-da-da-da-da. And I'm not going to mention any specific names, but every single major beef that has happened in the fandom, every single one, almost, except for maybe two that I can think of. I have been in the behind, and it has been miserable. I've almost left YouTube many, many times. But what keeps me here is this, Andrew. Here's what keeps me, is that I'm a fan. And that's why I tell people I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a fan. Had I left, I wouldn't have found your channel because I would have been gone already. And the thing of the matter is, the point of the matter is that you don't know what creators are going to come along that are going to teach, educate, and entertain. And so I've got to stay in this thing in order to try to keep some of the glue together for a lot of these channels.
Yeah, and I think that's the people we need. We need the people that are the connectors, that are the people that make it happen, because you see these powerful abilities to collaborate. I never would have thought that I'd be collaborating with Midnight's Edge and with Valiant and WDW Pro and these guys talking about pop culture stuff, even though I always talk on my channel how everything is connected. But I still say, okay, I try to stay within my field, stay within my realm of knowledge, my expertise, right? I'm not trying to become a pop culture channel. I'll talk about it as it relates to business and law, right? Because that is my field, right? But I'm not going to talk about it just to talk about it. I'm not going to do movie reviews, right? I may talk about it offhandedly during an interview like this, but I'm not going to make that the prime part of my channel. But we are better together when we're able to bring somebody in as an expert. When I want to talk about something, I can bring in somebody who, is way in deep in the Star Wars fandom, or I can bring in somebody who does Disney like Valiant or whoever else, and we can get into these deep conversations about it because they're a subject matter expert. If I'm like, fuck you, you're wrong, and this is the stupidest fight ever, and I'm not trying to drag you into this, but this is the whole, was Chapek the savior of Disney or not?
Yeah, there's a great example of
a whole fucking huge fight. And we're not, once again, I'm not going to get in the weeds on that. Who's right, who's wrong. I really don't give a shit, right? I have zero dog in that fight. But the point of the matter is people like excommunicated each other over that issue. And it's so fucking stupid because they both agree that Disney is woke and Disney is crazy and what they're doing with Star Wars is horrible. But because of this one little issue, they've now excommunicated each other and not talking to each other anymore. It's like, it's so fucking stupid. It's so petty. It's childish, but it's because of exactly what you said before. And I think Tianini actually said it in the chat. And thank you so much for repeating it. People want to be right. They want to be first. and they want to be popular.
And what astounds, yes, exactly, brilliantly said, Andrew and Tia. And what astounds me is that when these things happen, there's two things that are almost impossible for YouTubers to do, and here's what they are. It's impossible for them to say, I'm sorry, or I was wrong. And neither one of those two things takes much time and don't cost any money, but it does take humility in order to say those words.
Yep. And there's been a lot of times, and I think you got to realize
I've been wrong.
I mean, I was wrong voting for fucking Obama. Like, I realize
I voted for Hillary.
Right. I mean, that one is fucking shocking. That to me is like, but you were in, hold on, because you kind of got red pilled during Corona, right? That was when you really got like, fuck it, I'm out. Like this is bad. And you finally were like, that's it.
It had been brewing for about 4, 5, 6 years.
That was your moment. That was your wake the fuck up moment, was like, hey, South Carolina can go do business. I'm on lockdown here with like the crazies, you know? Like you're in the insane asylum in Southern California. I mean, there's no
Andrew, I just went to visit my mom a couple months ago. They're all wearing masks still all over the place.
Are you fucking kidding me?
In San Bernardino, like I made a left turn. What was I? 15 in the 215 split, and I'm stuck in traffic. I look over to my left, look over to my right. There's people in cars with a mask on.
In a car with a mask?
In the car, Andrew.
What the fuck? See, okay, look, we have really bad air quality here in Seoul. Like, especially, fuck China for that, by the way, because that's all from China. So I understand when people wear masks here for the air quality, because it is literally really fucking bad, right? And it does help with the air quality when the air is bad.
Yeah.
But other than that, even here in Asia, right, we've turned the corner where most people aren't wearing a mask. Typically, if the air quality is not bad, it's a nice day, right? You know, you look around in Seoul and like majority of people are not wearing masks anymore, especially younger people, right? And yet people in California are doing that because you committed to it, because they went down this road of masks are life, masks are political signaling, so they've got to wear it. It's like
religion, isn't it?
It's a religion. It's a religion. Yeah. It's fucking crazy. I can't believe Rita's saying, legal mindset. Here in Cali, people wear masks in cars. Holy
shit. Look,
there's
Rita right there. Rita.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Rita, where are you at? I was in Northern California, and my mom's in Southern California. But I moved out from dude, I was at ground zero, Silicon Valley woke. That's where I was at. San Jose.
That's good. No, that is ground zero. That is really ground zero for the woke. Like absolutely 100%.
I mean, I'm between Berkeley, Stanford. I'm down the street from PayPal, Google.
Yep. Let me run through these super chats here. got a couple good ones over here. I'm laughing at some of the ones here. So let's start with locals, because I appreciate y'all over on locals. Ben SC says both of those things, i.e. admitting you were wrong and saying sorry, require maturity and humility to say. And I think that's something that when you really talk to people, they don't have the maturity and humility to say, I was wrong about that. And I'm sorry to this person that I did something wrong, or I perceived that wrong.
Hey, and I'm not perfect. There's a couple of channels that I've worked with where I screwed up. I legitimately screwed up. I either said something wrong or did something wrong, but I said I was sorry. I didn't say, hey, you're lucky to have me as your producer and I help grow this channel and F you. No, I mean, I think as human beings, Andrew, if we ever get to a place where we're unwilling to say that we're sorry or we were wrong, that is a sad place, because that is, I believe, a core element of humanity.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me get these here. First of all, welcome Sejong the Great. That's the Emperor of Korea who invented Hangul. So welcome over to the Legal Mindset. Appreciate you, brother. And then dropped in a $5 saying, I only have one God, but hail the awoken Chicano and hail the Legal Mindset. Most Latinx, aka libs, Latinx, are actually conservative as hell. Yes. They don't realize that. And especially for things like masculinity, like there is a very traditional view of masculinity in the Hispanic community. Very traditional.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're all these concepts and these.
I think they're coming for us next.
I think that's going to be the next real push, right? I mean, I think it's like they're going to try to push this, and they're just going to say "fuck you."
I mean, think about it. We have more kids than anybody.
Yes.
We go to the movies more than anybody. I mean, just look at them. The Mario Brothers just came out.
By the way, hold on. I was gonna show this here. It's not out yet in South Korea, but number one movie, in the world, Super Mario Brothers movie, gonna make $1 billion, right? I think we're on track for $1 billion.
Dude, this thing's doing $1 billion for sure. I mean,
easy. It's not even out in Japan and Korea.
I'm not the best box office guy, but
that's Valiant. That's Valiant. But I know you just came off his stream. I know he probably was talking about it.
Yeah, but this thing, I don't think anybody's going to catch this this movie. I can't see. I mean, Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible is going to catch it because look, my kid. I just talked to him, Max, right before I texted you. I said I'm going to talk to my kid before the stream.
Yeah.
And I said, and he just told me he's going to go see it again with 4 of his kids that are in his baseball league. Well, he just saw it last weekend with the kids that are in he has a little rock band. There's 4 guys and him. He's the lead singer. And so he saw it with them. Now he's going to go with his baseball buddies.
I'm gonna say, so it's open in Thailand. I didn't realize that. So Thailand, it's out there. So I'm gonna see it. I'll see it when I'm in Thailand, and then I'll see it again in Korea because I want to be able to report on what the box office is like. Like, are they packed or is it empty? Right? And I want to say, look, here it is. Right? We're not having a situation with what was it? Captain Marvel, where it's like they were buying out the theaters and they were totally empty.
Bro, for Echo Base Network. What's Echo Base Network? Yeah. So I was in Birmingham, Alabama, and I took screenshots of the different showings, and the same seats were bought in like 5 different showings on the same day for Captain Marvel, literally, and they were like blocks of like 10 seats.
Yeah. No. I think it's going to be. I think it's still going to be packed. I think it's. Yeah, I think it's still going to be packed. Like going forward. Let's see here. We got El Presidente Camacho says, "What's up? What's happening? What's happening? SoCal for what's happening." Mike knows.
Yep. Lowrider show. El Presidente Camacho.
Brandon the Anime Guy says, "I hate YouTube drama as cause more issues, man." And the thing is that you know what I really hate. You can't do panel shows anymore because you don't know who's beefing with who. You don't even know. You can't track it. You're like, who's beefing with who anymore? But I have a rule now, and you've been behind drama. So actually, let me get your take on this. I don't like to be doing big panel shows, like 6 or 9 panel shows, because of 2 reasons. Number one, I feel like nobody gets a word in, right? So nobody feels like they can talk enough. So they kind of feel like they're not getting enough attention. And number 2, all the drama I ever see, and it comes from those big ass panels. It never comes from a one-on-one. It never comes from a one-on-one. It comes from a big ass panel where it's 2 people who don't really know each other, and they've only got a minute to get a word in. So they say something, it pisses the other one off, and then they just hit each other, and then their communities go to war.
I mean, obviously, for something like Midnight Sage After Dark, it's Tom's channel, so he controls it. Sometimes we will have 6 to 9 people. By the way,
that's their choice.
If it's a show that I run, that I'm in charge of, I don't believe there should ever be more than 4 to 6 people on the screen. I just don't believe there ever should be more than 4 to 6 people on the screen, max. And I think talks like this, like the stuff you do with Drex and Jeff and all the guys, where it's just 2 or 3 of you. By the way.
Pimpcast is at 4, right? I will never do more than 4 for that. It's a square,
right? And I'm one of Andrew Bronca's. I did his day-long class.
Yeah.
I'm a platinum member. I'm a monthly member.
I just finished teaching his property course. It was great.
Dude, I had no idea because I did all this shit with him like a year and a half ago. I had no idea till he started doing stuff with you. He was based as F.
Oh yeah, and he's like, I didn't know idea he was so red pilled. Like the motherfucker knows more. Like I thought he was gonna come in with some boomer shit, but he knows all the statistics. He knows the facts.
He knows his Rollo
Tomasi. He knows all of it. He knows hypergamy. He knows everything.
He knows his hypergamy. He knows his Rich Cooper stuff.
Yeah, it's great. He's definitely red pill. I'm like, holy shit! I thought I was the red pill guy.
He knows all the red flags from Rich Cooper.
Yeah, all the guys. Oh, and I love those guys, by the way. Good friends of mine both. Rich is a great guy. I've been on his channel a bunch of times, and it's the guys like that, which by the way are like more of your clients, right? The rich entrepreneurs, right?
Absolutely.
Like those guys who have money, like Rich is like, I'm getting the fuck out of Canada, right? Guy has a bunch of money, lives in Canada. He's getting the fuck out. And one of my most popular videos over on Go East, my new channel, is talking about getting the fuck out of Canada, right? Because people are just looking at it, whether it's California or Canada, they're looking at these laws and they're just like, I want to get the fuck out. Right.
Yeah, Andrew, I got to tell you, when was driving, because I drove across country to South Carolina.
Yeah.
I was still brainwashed that I thought
That's
once I
right.
got out here, it was going to be nothing but racism. And I have been treated nicer and more civilly than I ever was in California. Because in California, no one gets along. Everybody's competing and there's all these attitudes. Bro, like I'm down here and it is just the nicest, most amazing environment I could ever imagine. It is just amazing. And in leaving California, which is something I never thought I would do, was the best decision of my entire life. My life is enormously better, just phenomenally better.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. You just got to wonder, like, why were they saying these nasty things? It's because they're crabs in the bucket, and they want to keep you in the fucking bucket, right? It's the same thing with the YouTubers that want to fight and the fans that want to fight. They want to keep you in the bucket. They want to keep you in the fight because they want to throw shit, right? You know. And with Californians, I've had people that said, they're Californians that literally say, you're moving to Florida or you're from Florida. How are you alive? Are you not dead? Or they're not gunshots in the street every day? Or people not just getting shot in school every single day? It's like your idea of what's going on there is so demented because of what you see in the news and what you hear from your, from your governor, who, by the way, the governor of California was just in Florida to try to make fun of our requirements to get rid of woke college curriculum and CRT and shit like that in schools. And it's like, why aren't you out governing your own state? Right? Is it so important to you, the policies that are happening in the state? And the answer is yes, because they need to, the only thing they have is to say these people are bad. They're not doing anything good for the state of California.
Yeah,
the people of California are suffering.
And you know what the funny thing is, Andrew? You mentioned this one of your live streams. I heard you say this, is that had DeSantis not kept Orlando open for Disney, that company might have broken in two.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had just gotten those two big, huge loans, and their credit rate changed, which affected the interest that they pay on the Fox stuff. But by the way, before we sign off, I got to ask you about the Disney Iger call, because I covered it live. And one thing that I've done is I've done a ton of corporate governance. And when we talk about Disney potentially imploding, what do you think is the future?
I think it's got to get better before it's got to get worse before it gets better.
I agree.
By the way, this is the Economist article here. So this is from UCF. This is the first reasonable article. Now, I will say this headline is actually sensationalist because this is actually pro Florida. So UCF Economist says fight between Disney and DeSantis doesn't make sense for either side, but that's not really what he's saying. So if you actually read down what he's saying, did Iger's claiming that Florida's retaliation is anti-business and anti-Florida, but then goes down to say, according to the Association of Special Districts, there's over 1,900 guys. There's dozens formed every month, right? I was forming a new special district every month in Florida when I was down there. It was a great grift, a great business. Involving over 500 local governments, but no special district was as unique as Reedy Creek. And I will have a long form Reedy Creek video out. I'm actually going to film that today. As I go to pick up some Thai currency before I head off and do everything else. I'm going to record that today. But there is still, this fight is still going on. But there was no special district like Reedy Creek. It was literally an autonomous government. And right there saying it would be difficult, I'm going to say impossible, for Disney to replicate Reedy Creek somewhere else in the country, not just in the state, in the country. California wouldn't let that happen.
No.
You telling me you think California would allow a corporation to have zero regulations within its boundaries?
No, absolutely not.
Are you fucking kidding me? Hell no.
No.
Right?
No, regardless of the wokeness of Disney and the wokeness of California, there's no way that's happening.
So they were trying to argue, well, Disney employs, 58,000 people in Florida, making it one of the top 5 employers. That's true, right? So yes, that would be bad if those all disappeared. But right here, he says it right here. So if you waved a wand and made that all go away, that would be a tremendous blow to the economy, period. That being said, I think it's 1,000% unlikely that would ever happen. And that's the key there. That's what we've been waiting to see, is people to say, hey, it is 1,000%. There's no way in hell that Disney is leaving Florida. So anybody who ever says, all those people arguing, oh, but what if they leave Florida? Like, it's going to be horrible for Florida. They're not leaving, guys. There's nowhere better to go in America.
Bro, there's not enough land.
It doesn't exist. You could not buy it. I know what the land prices are. It's not possible. They don't have the money to purchase that much land.
No, they're too far in debt. They probably can't even get a mortgage.
Exactly. And the sale price they would get on it, it would be a fire sale on the property itself. So yeah, it's not going to happen. I think what's going to happen, Mike, long term, is that it's going to get worse, and let's expect it to get really bad. But they're going to go too far. And eventually the institutional buyers, the same ones, by the way, because remember, those hard-hitting questions on Reedy Creek, those were asked by an institutional buyer.
Yeah.
They were asked by American Express.
Yeah.
Right? These were not asked by some podunk yokel. These were asked by an institutional fucking buyer, which is troubling. So when they get in trouble with enough of those big owners, the big people who own it, who are eventually like, look, we're all for ESG because that's what they're going to be at. And ESG itself has to be broken at a certain point. But it's got to get bad before it gets worse. And we're not there yet. We're not at the breaking point yet. And I think economics, it's going to take a dip, and a real dip. We haven't even seen a real dip yet, guys. No. I'm sorry. We've seen a little bit of a blip, but we've not seen enough of a dip. It's got to get bad before they correct. They course correct. They get rid of Iger. Then perhaps they end up selling off Lucasfilms. I mean, that's always possible, breaking that off. Honestly, one of the best things about an Apple merger, if you know M&A, is that they might have to spin off some of these things.
Absolutely.
And if they spun off some of these things, there might be some hope there. If they were forced to spin off.
If the right business units are spun off, then they probably can get through the monopoly issues.
Yes, they would have to spin off certain businesses. I think perhaps Lucasfilm might be one of those. But once again, that's wishful thinking.
Well, I think it's the studios, right? I mean, they acquired Pixar Studios coming in, so they got to unwind studios going out. I mean, Apple to buy anything related to the theme park attractions and the retail hospitality would be a train wreck, because Disney has no idea how to run that kind of. I mean, Apple has no idea how to run that shit.
Oh, they have zero idea. They have zero idea. All right, let's get some of the super chats. Sully says on Rumble, Bronca was how I found Nick and Andrew. Long time law self-defense member. Shout out. And look, Bronca's a great example. I disagree with his take on the Daniel Perry issue, right? I think his analysis of that, I don't like it, but I still love Bronca. Bronca's a great guy. And he, by the way, has more experience in self-defense. So I bow to his knowledge in self-defense. He has more than me. He's a subject matter expert. So he's analyzing that from that angle. I'm analyzing it more from the political angle, from the, PR angle, right? Than he is. But look, we can disagree, and I still like him, and we're not beefing, and we're totally cool. Right. And I think Bronco would say, well, you have the right to be wrong, Andrew. And we
right. That's what he always says. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And I think it's hilarious. Yeah. And I don't get, it's this beta energy to get mad about that, to be like, he agrees with me. I have to beef with him forever. That's so stupid. Sully also says, watch out for the cult city urban liberal types. Yeah, it really is. You move to the big cities, to the LAs, to everywhere else, and you get into the cult. Like, they really bring you into the cult.
Yes.
Let's get the Hunch says Latina chicks equal best chicks. Well, that's where we fight about. And I look, that's all. A lot of it's personal preference, right? Do you like the ass, or do you like the titties? I will say, though, the fake titties are getting a lot better over here in Asia. You should check those out if you ever have a chance.
Well, I will. I am dying. You've sent me enough DMs about these tacos that are down the street from wherever you live.
Oh my fucking God, they're so good. The picadillo is fucking amazing. Like, literally, I order this shit. I'm not gonna order this shit.
I'm gonna get my passport, and sometime I don't know if it'll be this year or next. I'm coming to visit. I'll take you out. I'll pay for everything. And
okay, we'll see if we can get a little kimchi on your menu. Maybe I'll change your mind. Let's see.
You know what? Maybe you get the right smoking hot Korean girl.
Yes.
She throws the right moves. Hey, maybe I turn into that Mexican antelope on the Serengeti. And,
yes. And you are. And by the way, I will say, it's nice to be like the unicorn, or like the only guy, because like there's so many people, here, that they'll pretend they're one thing or another when they're really not. Like, they'll pretend to be Mexican because they lived in LA for like 4 months, and they get away with it, and they end up getting a lot of ass because there's girls that are into that, right? There's girls that want that. Mm-hmm. There's somebody out there for everybody. Dehako says, teach, educate, entertain. That's why I keep coming back to the channel. Get to discover new YouTubers like Mexican Ironman. And he's not even really a YouTuber. He's a behind the scenes guy. But you guys should all follow him on Twitter. So if you haven't followed him, Mexican Ironman, at Mike Canole SJ here. You can follow him on Twitter. Great guy, always backs up really based content creators, and he's doing the Lord's work. He's really bringing people together. He's done nothing but try to connect me with other good content creators. He's never started beef. He's never started any fights, never caused drama. So go check him out. And support positive people that are bringing positivity to this.
Thanks for saying that, brother. That's really nice. Thank you so
no,
much.
I mean, really, like, because it's facts. I'm just spitting facts. Ryu Kirito says, I'm a truck driver and drive all over SoCal, mainly San Bernardino, and people wear masks everywhere. I even got asked to wear one at a client pickup. Yo, say, I'm gonna mask these nuts. You know, I mean, because fuck that. I mean, like, they have no right to ask you for that anymore. So that's them imposing their Sharia law on you. And you are not obliged to stand by their religion. Although I will say California may work that into their law somehow. So don't put it past California to do that.
Hell right.
Sejong says Super Mario in Japan and Korea is literally waiting for Children's Day Golden Week. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's coming up on Golden Week in Japan, which is the week. Golden Week is the week where there's 4 Japanese holidays. So they just get a full week off. It's almost like 10 days off. So everybody takes the week off and vacation. So it comes out right after that. So I think it's going to fucking kill it. I think it's going to destroy it. There's also 2 holidays in Korea. There's like Constitution Day and Children's Day as well. Wow. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be big. I'm really expecting, and they're advertising it. I was just at John Wick 4, which by the way was a great movie. You know, I think it's going to kill it. I think it's going to fucking destroy it here in theaters. I'm going to see it in IMAX. It's going to be great. Sejong also says the first of the modern school shootings started in San Diego with a girl who hated Mondays. California leads the nation in crap behavior. Yes, it is literally the insane asylum members running the show down there. 100%. So yeah, I think we got everything here. Dude, Mike. Oh yeah, and one over a local. Sorry. Ben said for $5, welcome to SC Mike, and then great show and great guest. $20 from Steve Z. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate you. So where can people find you next, Mike? Where's the next place you're going to be
Well,
at?
I mean, follow me. Well, just I don't know. I got a YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter. I think I have to go see if Tom's live streaming or not. But I honestly, I don't really plan on doing any shows this week. It's the last week of tax season. I got a few stragglers that I'm handling, but
I got my extension. You know,
good job, buddy. If you ever need something, let me know. Don't worry about being able to afford me.
Dude, I may contact you because I gotta deal with people that are expat specialists.
We have a special discount code for racist Florida cracker 6 feet and over.
Misogynist. Yes, only for misogynists. Yes,
only for misogynists. Cracker above 6 feet.
Yes,
discount code.
Okay, thank you. I need 50% off because that's how much I'm gonna have to pay in reparations.
There you go. Hashtag Team Cracker. I'm your ally, bro. Like I'm like a true ally.
Yeah. You're the real, right? Yeah. Well, because look, you know the real people when you're under fire and they got your back. That's what it is. Like that's the real people. I agree with you.
It's like to me, there's no greater currency than loyalty amongst friendships, amongst friends. There's no greater currency. Money comes and goes. Time you can fall behind, but you can catch up. But you know what never comes back that you can't get back is the loss of loyalty. And that's why I love being a fan of yours, of all these other YouTube channels, because I don't want my joke about me not wanting to be a YouTuber is because I love being a fan. I love, waking up in the morning on your 5:30 a.m. stream, and you go in, I'm making my scrambled eggs, I'm just getting my coffee.
Getting the tamales ready,
Well, Mexican Ironman. Like I'm not a good tamale. I'm not that Mexican, I'm on Hilton Head Island.
There's a famous guy. There's a famous photo. It's like a Korean barbecue where they got the grill in the middle of the table, and there's a Mexican dad, and he's got the little tamale maker, and he like puts them on the grill, and brings it out and presses it, and I'm like, oh, dude, I fucking love this. But yeah, no, it like honestly, you sometimes don't want to look behind the curtain because there's like a lot of shit there. Yeah. And you see that and you deal with that. And I have a lot of respect for the fact that you've maintained good standing despite all that bullshit. and refusing to take sides, refusing to get involved in the bullshit, refusing to sling mud. So I'm happy to have you on, and I hope I can have you on for a panel show
Sure,
when we
love
do
to.
like a 3 or 4 panel show. But I like to have, like I was telling Joe Ball last week and Rini before that, I like to have people on as a one-on-one before that, so we know each other, and it's not like we're gonna fight on stream because we've already connected one-on-one. We've talked. I know more about you as a person, as a dad, as a human being, right? And going through a lot of similar things to me. I can really identify with like being brainwashed, right? And then taking the red pills and then coming over and realizing what the truths and the facts
On
were.
the next one, I'll tell you about something I forgot to mention. I was going to tell you earlier, but we'll do it on the next show.
Well, I got to bring you on for a pimp cast. I think that'll be
Michelle
great.
Obama worked for me for 3 years.
Oh, shit.
In Washington, D.C. She ran the Chicago office of Public Allies. I was the national COO and CFO. So we talk about that on the next one.
Oh, shit. No, I got to get you on. And I definitely got to get you on for a pimp cast for sure. By the way, guys, we're going to try to have one from Thailand. I will not be streaming tomorrow. I've tried to go to three streams a week now, usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But today we're going to not have a Monday this week. I will commit to like doing at least a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then a Friday. A Thursday maybe. So probably be back with Joe Neerman on Thursday because now it's Passover's over. So his Jew excuses are over. So we'll probably get back with the Hebrew on that day. Until then, guys, stay based. Right now, I will be doing a locals after party. So people come over to locals. I'll be doing a locals exclusive live stream just for the hombres. So head over there if you want to hang out. Mike, thank you for being an hombre. Stick around for 2 seconds. We'll talk for a second.
All right. Thanks
everybody
for having
else.
me. Bye,
Peace.
everybody.